So we're going through all the playoff matchups in the first round of the 2024 OHL playoffs. We'll take our first look at a Western Conference matchup. This game gets underway Thursday night at 7:05 at the Dow Event Center, and it features the number 2 seeded Saginaw Spirit taking on the number 7 seed Owen Sound Attack. On paper, this series looks very lopsided, and for Saginaw, of course, the Memorial Cup hosts, and they went all in this season. They want to go in through the front door when it comes to the CHL's top tournament. And right now, they're heading in the right direction, but it'll see what they can do here in the postseason. While the Owen Sound Attack, a team with high expectations coming into the year, and it was some turmoil on and off the ice, which has got us to this point. They fell in the second half of the schedule. They were competing for 5th seed in the West, and here we are in the 7th seed. They almost fell to the 8th, and it was not a pretty picture going into the postseason. So we'll see if they can turn it around. Let's go over the numbers first. The season series between these two teams, Saginaw dominated 2-0. These two teams, because of the way the scheduling is set up, the Owen Sound Attack, they play 6 games during the regular season against the Barrie Colts, and because of that, 2 of those games were taken away from Saginaw. So that's the reason why these two Western Conference opponents only play each other twice during the regular season. So Saginaw winning the season battle there. Over the last 10 games, the Saginaw Spirit 8-1-1. They have been rolling, and they're also on a 3-game winning streak. Although the game between Saginaw and Sarnia over the weekend got quite heated, resulted in Letang, the head coach, being ejected from the game, along with an assistant coach, Kai Schwint, the player that was scratched for the game due to injury, ended up being head coach for a little bit. I think I need to do a video talking about the Sarnia Sting and how they ended the regular season. But this Saginaw team, very good. They've got so much depth. They seem poised to go on a very deep run here for this 2024 playoff. While Owen Sound, their last 10 games, 3-6-1. And that overtime loss coming against the Guelph Storm on Saturday. So the Owen Sound Attack wanting to turn things around quickly here. And when we look at the numbers, goals for favoring Saginaw, they had 303 in the season to 246 for Owen Sound. On the goals against, Saginaw also the advantage, 215 goals against to Saginaw or to Owen Sound's 274. So even just looking at the goals for and against, favoring Saginaw heavily. The power play though, so specialty teams, Owen Sound has the advantage. Their power play, 30% success rate in the regular season, and that can be credited to Colby Barlow. He was outstanding on the man advantage. He always found a way to get into those open spots. That one-timer, always lethal. So if Owen Sound is going to win this series, it may come down to specialty teams. The power play for Saginaw, 25.5%, so still pretty good. So don't count out Saginaw when it comes to specialty teams. On the penalty kill, Owen Sound, 83.2%. They were able to shut things down. And for Saginaw, the penalty kill, 81.1%. So on the goals for and goals against, Saginaw has the advantage, but specialty teams, you have to give that to Owen Sound. Let's take a look now at the top scorers for both teams. Starting off with Owen Sound, Denny Gore led the way with points. He had 96 on the season, 36 goals, 60 assists. Coming in second, Ethan Burrows. He had 31 goals, 45 assists, good for 76 points. Sam Sedley, the defenseman, 9 goals, 54 assists, 63 points. Sam Sedley, he has some great vision. His passing and hockey sense is remarkable. Offensively, you'd like to see a little bit more there. Yes, he does take a lot of risks with his passes, but when they connect, you see there that they're getting the goals with Owen Sound. Colby Barlow, he's 4th in points for Owen Sound. 40 goals, 18 assists, good for 58 points. And remember, Barlow missed about a month's worth of action due to a back injury. And he came back and got right back into his rhythm. So the Winnipeg Jets prospect, if Owen Sound is going to win this series, they're going to need Colby Barlow to step up here. And then 5th in points is Cedric Gendon, 26 goals, 31 assists, good for 57 points. So this team, they do have the weapons up front. It's that consistency is what they're looking for. Looking on the goaltending, Owen Sound, Carter George, he is going to be counted upon here in the postseason. He has a .330 goals against average, .907 save percentage. So despite Owen Sound's struggles, he still has decent numbers, considered maybe the Rookie of the Year for the Ontario Hockey League, Carter George. So we'll see what he can do in the postseason. I think for Owen Sound, it's going to come down to their specialty teams, Colby Barlow up front, and Carter George. Hopefully they didn't play him too much. You don't want to have a fatigued goaltender going into the postseason, but we'll see what this team can do in the clutch. Now, looking on the Saginaw Spirit, their top goal scorer, Zane Parekh, the defenseman, 32 goals, 63 assists, 95 points. Parekh, considered one of the top NHL draft picks for this June's NHL entry draft, could go in the top 10 at the draft, and he led the way for Saginaw points-wise. Owen Beck, he was picked up from the Peterborough Petes. He had 34 goals, 47 assists, good for 81 points on the season. Saginaw went all in picking up Owen Beck. They gave up Aiden Young and picks to bring him in. Owen Beck, of course, a key contributor on that Peterborough Petes championship run last season. Third in scoring, Michael Misa, 28 goals, 46 assists, good for 74 points. He was the player that was given exceptional status last year, so already in his second season in the OHL, he continues to get it done. It's going to be fascinating to see what he's able to do next year in the OHL. And then fourth is Rodwin Donizio, 25 goals, 47 assists, good for 72 points. With Saginaw, they picked him up from Windsor. He's fit in quite nicely. Donizio, another offensive-minded defenseman. Him, Parekh, very similar styles, although Rodwin Donizio, he's also solid in the back end, so he was a great pickup for the Saginaw Spirit team. And then fifth in scoring, former Barrie Colt, Hunter Haight, 25 goals, 42 assists, good for 67 points. So you cannot go wrong with those top five in scoring with the Saginaw Spirit. They're going to be hard to handle for the Owen Sound Attack. In goal, expect Andrew Oak to get the bulk of the starts. He has a 289 goals against average, 890 save percentage. So that save percentage lower than Carter George. So goaltending might go to Owen Sound in this matchup. I think this, when you look back at last season when the Kitchener Rangers upset the Windsor Spitfires in the first round, that was another team that underachieved. The Kitchener Rangers, they had high expectations last year, and then going into the playoffs as the 8th seed, upset Windsor 4-3. Does that happen here? I kind of doubt it, but if there's a team that's going to do that kind of upset, it could be the Owen Sound Attack. That specialty teams, Colby Barlow, Carter George, that's what it's going to come down to if Owen Sound is going to upset the Saginaw Spirit. And also to note, these two teams have never met in the playoffs before. I went all the way back to the North Bay Centennial days and also the Owen Sound Platters, and the two franchises have never crossed paths in the playoffs. So some history there for the Owen Sound Attack and the Saginaw Spirit. And of course, that series gets underway Thursday night at the Dow Event Center as the Saginaw Spirit continue their march towards the Memorial Cup. And we'll see if they'll go in as OHL champions or as the hosts. So let me know in the comments section down below your thoughts on this series between Owen Sound and Saginaw. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe as we continue to go through all the playoff series before we get the playoffs underway later this week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you again soon.